Happy Sunday! So, I wanted to do my saint tap of the day. And the card that was selected today was Saint Joseph. Saint Joseph. Look at that picture. Today's card's coming through with gentle but the powerful energy of Saint Joseph. And this feels so important to me right now. I love Saint Joseph. Look at this statue I have of Saint Joseph. Not flashy, not loud, not performative, just solid, steady, protective, present. And honestly, in a world addicted to chaos, confusion, mixed signals, ego battles, emotional games, this kind of energy, it feels almost revolutionary now. It really does. Saint Joseph and this card are tied to sacred masculinity, hard work, the father energy, sacrifice, quiet leadership, patience, guidance through actions instead of words, and protecting what matters, building instead of performing, and showing up when nobody claps for you. Yeah. Saint Joseph, he was not the loudest person in the room. He wasn't constantly seeking validation, and he wasn't trying to win attention. He simply showed up day after day. Let's talk about that. Because some people nowadays, they will give speeches about loyalty while disappearing the moment responsibility arrives. Some people, they love the idea of family, commitment, partnership, and purpose, but not the actual daily work of it. Saint Joseph, his energy says love is demonstrated in consistency, not an occasional emotional outburst, not in breadcrumbs type of affection, and not in maybe someday, no, and not in empty promises wrapped in pretty words. Consistency, protection, presence, provision, gentleness with strength. And for me personally, Saint Joseph, he's been one of the saints that I hold very near and dear to my heart, especially when it comes to work, providing, struggling, trying to keep going when everything just feels so heavy. Saint Joseph, he's known as the patron saint of workers. People pray through his intercession when they need help with jobs, finances, stability, direction, strength, or endurance. And I know some people outside the Catholic faith may not fully understand that. So I want to explain it gently and honestly. As Catholics, and I was brought up a Catholic. I don't believe in a lot of the beliefs that continue with the Catholic faith. I'm always a Catholic at heart, but I'm Christian. And I have a full list of what I feel I am, but that's not important right now. We are not worshiping saints. People think, oh, we have this statue here, we're worshiping it. That's not what we're doing. We don't idolize a statue. Just like I don't with my tarot cards. I don't do that with my tarot cards. I don't idolize them. I don't think that they're above anything else. Nothing like that. And this is an oracle card. It's a saint oracle card made for Catholics. So these cards are just about all the saints. So whatever comes up is the saint that needs to speak with you through the day, or what you need to speak with. And we pray before that and ask God, what do I need to know? Please let me know. The statues, the prayer cards, rosaries, these saint cards, my tarot, they're all symbolic tools. That's all they are, just symbolic tools. These are reminders, reflections. What am I going to reflect on today? What does my focal point need to be on? What is a way that I can connect even deeper spiritually today? What do I need to be focusing on? That's what the cards are about. That's what the saint is about, the statue. That's what it's all about. It's not about this higher force calling in demons, and a lot of people have it just really confused. And I'm going to tell you why. Because a long time ago, there were con artists that were psychics that would scare people to take people's money and lie to them. That was a long time ago. And maybe some people still do it now today. But that's not what I'm about. And that's not what this is about. These are simply tools that I pray and I ask that God sends the people that needs to hear it. Send the people that need to hear this message. I'm a messenger. That's it. We believe that saints are examples of holy lives and that they can pray with us, intercede for us. The same way you'd ask someone like a counselor or a teacher or a priest, please pray for me. That's all. There's nothing scary, and a lot of people want me to read for them because they can feel the energy, but they're afraid because of what they've heard or what people have told them. You don't have to be afraid. This is nothing bad. This is nothing, and if you feel like it is, that's your opinion. Scroll on. I'm not asking for your opinion. I'm just sharing mine. You want to make your opinion on your own page? Go do it. I'll leave it alone. The only time I'll intercede usually is on a public mask where I just see people are being ugly. And I say, you know what? There's somebody that needs somebody to stand up for them. I'm going to put this out there, but it's not because I feel like, I just don't like bullying. I don't like bullying. I don't like ugly energy. But I'm not going to start shit either because I believe in peace and love and especially equality. Went off there. Wasn't planning on saying all that, but it's in my heart, in my head, it's going to be said. The other thing, honestly, is that sometimes when life feels completely exhausting, like it does for me a lot, it helps to feel spiritually accompanied by people who knew sacrifice deeply. And Saint Joseph knew sacrifice. Can you imagine being told the woman you love is carrying a child that is not biologically yours? And still choosing trust, still choosing protection, still choosing love, still choosing faith when the situation made absolutely no human sense. That kind of trust, that's enormous. That kind of humanity, that's enormous. It is. That kind of faith, very rare. Very rare. Faith is hard. People want proof. People want to know. And everything has a rebuttal. You can look and look and you're going to find a rebuttal somewhere. I promise you. Not with faith, though. Not with faith. Joseph could have walked away. He could have chosen ego. We use our ego so much. We need to get rid of that. He could have chosen pride. Ugh, I hate that. It's good to be proud. But pride, when you walk around with pride, thinking you're above anybody else, he could have chosen bitterness. But instead, he stayed. That's Jesus in his arms. Baby Jesus. He prayed. He protected. He believed. And oh, he worked. Yeah. And I'm not talking about this glamorous job. I know he's getting the spotlight all the time, getting recognized. Not influencer work. Not look at me work. Carpenter work. Jesus and Joseph were carpenters. Hands cracked. Sweat. Long days. Quiet labor. Building tables while raising the Son of God. Honestly, when I picked this card, it did hit me emotionally. It did, because these past few years, God, they've taught me a lot, and a lot of sacrifice. A lot of sacrifice and hard work, especially watching Rico. He's fought so hard trying to stay afloat in sales. It isn't easy out there, especially when everybody wants to shut the door on somebody who has something to sell them or something to try to help them, and they don't look at it that way. Just another person in their face. It's like nonstop trying to prove yourself over and over. Trying to prove yourself over and over and over. Trying to provide. Trying to hold dignity together while still carrying pressure that people don't even see. Even sometimes the people you live with don't even see it. And let's be real for a second. Not everybody starts from the same place in life. They don't. Some people, they're already born connected, already financially safe. Yeah. Some have opportunities handed to them by their dad, their daddy, their parents, their uncles. Their just opportunity came into their lap. And some people are already protected from consequences. Some people don't even face consequences. They have high attorney lawyers who can take care of things. They know people, they know the right person, always standing 10 steps before they even take their first step. And then there are people who work themselves to the bone for every inch they gain. People who sacrifice their time with their family, no vacations, no me time, no free time, missing sleep, people who carry stress in their bodies. Their neck, their back hurts. People whose nervous system stay in survival mode. And people who hold the entire household together while quietly feeling like they're falling apart inside. Everything lands on them and they know it. And the stress that they hold carrying that goes pretty deep. And a lot of people just overlook it, especially people who don't understand that kind of pressure and don't have that kind of pressure on them. And sometimes there's the very people who get overlooked the most. They are. That's why St. Joseph feels so emotional to me today, because he represents the people who carry life on their shoulders gently. The fathers, the mothers, the providers, the workers, the exhausted and the unseen. The people who don't get applause every day for what they carry. And psychologically, this card, it feels very connected to healing our relationship with worth. Worth. because capitalism and modern society have convinced many people that if somebody struggles financially, they somehow failed morally. And that is not true. That is simply not true. Some of the hardest working people in the world barely survive. And some people, they really, truly have never struggled a day in their lives. Oh, but they speak on struggle like motivational speakers from a yacht somewhere. St. Joseph energy reminds us your value is not measured by status. Your holiness is not measured by wealth. And your dignity, it's not measured by who noticed your sacrifice. That'll preach today. This card also feels deeply tied to healing the inner child wounds. The image of young Jesus right there beside Joseph. What beautiful symbolism. The child is leaning and learning through observation. Just watching his dad. The nervous system learns safety through stable energy. That feeling of stability. Children don't just hear what adults say. They absorb who adults are. And honestly, adults do this too. We are all unconsciously learning from the energy around us every single day. Who calms us? Who confuses us? Who protects peace? Who drains us? Who drains our peace? Who teaches accountability? And who normalizes dysfunction? That's why this card it feels so huge right now collectively. There is a real craving happening in people's souls for realness, especially with all this AI going on. It's fun. The cartoons are fun. And I feel like it is a way that life is changing. A lot of people are like, hey, don't do it, don't use it because you're draining our water, stuff like that. There's no stopping it. I remember when they say don't use aerosol, don't use deodorant, sprays, hair sprays. There's a million things that people are telling us not to do with our ozone layer, all kinds of stuff. And our life is changing. It is. What are we going to do about it? All we can do is hold on to our emotional maturity, research things, and don't beat ourselves up if we find out more information later and change our minds. You know, we need that grounded energy. We need more people who mean what they say. And that doesn't mean it's always going to be consistent because, like I said, we can change our minds. Not everybody wants fireworks anymore. Some people, they're just finally realizing, hey, man, I'd rather have some peace than this adrenaline. Yeah. And psychologically, this card right here, it also points toward healing the relationship with authority, the father wounds, the trust, the protection. Some people, they grew up having to become their own protector way too early. Some learned hypervigilance, hyperindependence, because nobody stable showed up. Maybe people were busy working, or maybe they just didn't give a shit. Some learned chaos feels like love because chaos is familiar. But St. Joseph energy, it softly says, you do not have to keep surviving love. There's also something about craftsmanship here too. Joseph the carpenter, the builder energy, the slow progress energy, the hands in the dirt energy, that's not overnight success. I mean, who doesn't want that overnight success? Wake up one day and you went viral, making money and getting commission and all the things that you want in life. This is building that foundation. That's what this is about. Building that foundation, repairing what's broken or did not work, creating stability, brick by brick. Taking out those bricks that aren't going to hold, trusting the slow growth. So hard to do. Honoring honest work. And honestly, this message is needed right now because we all want those immediate results. We want immediate healing. I know I'd like some of that immediate money. Why do we have so many people playing all those jackpots and scratch-offs and going to Vegas and trying to gamble? Now that the Spurs were playing, placing bets. Everybody wants that immediate transformation, immediate soulmate, immediate glow up. Meanwhile, Spirit is over here like, can you stay committed long enough to build something real? Looking at this card, the browns, the golds, that's the dominant energy here if you look. Brown is grounding, reliability, earth energy, humility, home, safety. And that gold, that's divine wisdom, sacred purpose, spiritual protection, a higher calling. We got a little soft blue in there. That's emotional healing. That's peace. That's calm. That's communication. And then red on child Jesus. Red. That's life force. That's innocence. Vitality. Soul spark. This is earthy energy, steady energy, nervous system regulation energy. Not look at me, but more like, I'll be here. I'll be here. You can count on me. And wow, that's rare. That is so rare. And that 54 up there, 5 is change, challenge, movement. Lessons. And 4 is that stability. Remember I said, like, think of a table, has 4 legs. Stability, structure, that structure, foundation. Home is 4. Together, learning how to move through change without abandoning that stability. Somebody out here is being asked right now, can you stop romanticizing instability just because it feels familiar? Can you? You know, peace can feel boring at first to people, raised in survival mode. It's so hot out here. I'm outside, so I have no air getting out. I felt like I should get into the spirit, though, that hard labor. That's real psychology, the real healing. That's real shadow work. And spirit keeps whispering, stable. That does not mean stagnant. It doesn't. People think we got to be stagnant to be stable. That's not true. Today feels less about dramatic signs and more about noticing who consistently waters the garden. Who's consistent with making things happen? Who's consistent with showing up? I'm not just talking about the big moments, the fun moments, the big deals. I'm talking about the everyday grind. That's what St. Joseph's about. Who shows up? Who follows through? Who do you know will follow through? Who protects peace? Who makes life softer instead of harder? That's sacred energy. That's Saint Joseph energy today. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit. And peace, it's not passive. It's protection. The loudest love is not always the deepest love. And consistency is definitely a love language. Some souls, they heal simply by finally feeling safe. Hard work done with love, that's holy. The world often overlooks the builders, while unfortunately celebrating the performers.